and welcome to Heads Up. Home baking has gradually evolved itself from being just a hobby to a full-time profession. Home bakers have carved a niche for themselves using social media and whatnot. This is not just a hobby, it's a full-time business and they can be called nothing else but entrepreneurs. On the show today, we will show you why home bakers are a big hit and what you need to do to get this right. First up is the story of two young sisters who, with their love for baking, have started for the love of cake.
With a master's degree in psychology from Christ College, Bangalore in hand, Avani had been working as a psychologist in Delhi Public School for a year now. Her younger sister Akriti had also been working with Ernst & Young in New Delhi. Until this idea was born in Avani's head. She decided to quit her 9-to-5 job and turn to a hobby she adored and finally take up baking full-time. Following in her older sister's footsteps, young Akriti ditched her job as well to join hands with her sister. So with that daring step, the two sisters founded For the Love of Cake in August 2011. Support from friends and family came as an added bonus.
You know, from being a trained psychologist to doing this, something like this, baking cakes out of your house. How does one take that big a decision?
Like I said, so what happened was when I realized that people are willing to pay for it, paying means that your product is good. You can keep giving people something for free and they'll be like, dude, it's amazing, it's awesome. But when someone's willing to part with a lot of money for a cake, you realize that, okay, maybe you're worth something. Maybe it's worth it,
But were you convinced that you were going to make a living out of this?
Yes. Family came about, my parents supported me like crazy. My brother became my unofficial accountant and he was like, okay, I'm going to handle this. My sister joined me and started working with me. So yeah, so it all kind of came together and that makes you believe that it can be done.
The business grew gradually and the sisters found their expertise in designer cakes that involve using fondant to show objects in 3D. While the older sister spent all her time working on their joint venture, a year later, Akriti chose to expand her horizon. She headed to the US for a formal training as a culinary chef in the Culinary Institute of America.
While Abhi's working with Vlog, with the dessert pit, are you sort of planning to do more of culinary in future?
Absolutely. I love desserts and I love savory food. So it was the next step for me to take it to another level. And that's when I decided to go to CIA, and the training was hard. It was highly recommended by a lot of chefs, and you know, I did a lot of wines in front of house and did a bit of desserts, so I'm always able to kind of talk to my sister about flock and advise her, talk to her, take tips from her, what to, you know, finding out what's happening in New York, what's happening everywhere, and kind of like
you know, mix and match, come up with ideas.
Being a home baker also means one has to keep up to date. Learning from her younger sister about global trends, Avani made sure to go for short-term baking courses in India, the US and Canada to further enhance her skills. The job, however, comes with its own share of challenges, says Avani.
So the thing is, a lot of people decide that this is what they want to do. What they don't realize is, so let's say I love desserts, but if I eat desserts all day, I will get sick and tired of it at some point in time. So there comes a point when people need to understand that if you make your hobby your business or your profession, there will be times when you will not have any hobby to turn to. So where do you de-stress?
Because this is what you earn.
This is what you have. And it's not a hobby anymore. You're doing it for people. So today, I mean, just as an example, my grandfather passed away. So, he used to stay on the first floor, and I had about 12 orders to go out that day. I could not turn around and cancel those 12 orders. It was a wedding order, it was a birthday order, it was a kid's birthday order. So there are situations when you're completely stuck and you're like, what do I do? How do I do it? So,
would you say those are sort of some of the challenges for every home baker?
Yes.
You can't cancel on things.
You can't. It's a responsibility. It's not a business where you can be like, tomorrow it can go out tomorrow.
So
it
just
can go
because
out
you're doing something out of home doesn't mean it does not involve a certain level of professionalism.
Yes.
You have to cater to your market. You have to meet those demands, those
and that's what you have to
targets
look at. So that's the thing. That's why I say a lot of people who start this business, I know a lot of people start and then they shut down because because they're like, I mean, they realize that it's a constant job. Once you've invested the kind of money you're going to invest in good products, you can't be like, I'm done.
You can't take a step back.
You can't be like, I'm done. Like, I'll sell off everything and I'm done and I don't want to do anything anymore. So
what would you say to someone who was, starting out this business? The do's and don'ts.
For do's, I would definitely say make sure that you worked in any kind of kitchen before. Secondly, I would suggest taking at least one class.
Okay.
If for nothing, but the classes run about 9 to 10 hours. So it just teaches you it teaches you that you have to stand on your feet. The second thing I would probably tell you to do is that watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Really?
A lot. Because a lot of cake decorating things are online. So you also have to understand how baking works. You have to understand why you're using a product, what you're using. There came a time when I did feel the need to go in for a course. And I did feel, so it was luckily a certain time within my business where I was established and I knew, and to take it forward and you have to do something to understand. So I did a course in Canada which was, that was actually my 4th course.
Okay.
And I keep going in for these short programs just to kind of keep myself updated on what's happening.
Yes. The worldwide trend of home bakers has gradually evolved itself in India too, and sometimes a professional leap is just worth it. Why do I say that? Well, I don't, but we found someone who believes that after years of long hours of office work, the joy of baking is delightful and comes with its own share of success. Smita Mehta tells us how.
After having worked as a television journalist for over a decade, Smita's life took a different turn. In August 2013, she started the New Delhi Cake Company. Baking was something she had learned from her mother, and soon after she quit her job, the idea of transforming that very hobby into a business struck her. Just like running any other business, a home baker needs to be cautious of many things: networking, sourcing ingredients from the right place, managing finances, and of course, marketing their product. Smita did her bit of all that during the initial phases of her journey. Researching, keeping an eye on global trends, experimenting, and learning continuously is a part of the job. And to top the list, one must carve their own niche. Identify what makes their product unique and different from those around you. Having started 2 years ago, New Delhi Cake Company focuses on intricate designs, hand painting, and attention to detail. The bakery industry in India was valued at Rs 6,900 crores in 2010, with market size of Rs 1.5 lakh crores in 2014-15. The industry is growing at around 12 to 15%. This growing demand for bakers has given an edge to the entrepreneurial skills of women in the country. We caught up with Smita to share some tips for those of you wanting to get started.
So we're with Smita now. Smita, tell us, from a completely different profession to what you do now, how was the beginning, and what prompted you to sort of say, "Acha, theek hai, maybe I can, take it forward like this"? The initial, marketing, the investments, how did you plan it all? If you were to tell someone, how to go about it, what would you say?
Right, quite frankly, it happened to me.
Yeah.
I didn't plan it at all. It just happened, and in today's day and age, where there's so much, there's Facebook and there's Twitter and WhatsApp. Marketing is not a problem at all.
Yeah.
You have a Facebook page and you get 2,000 likes and you start getting orders. Word of mouth is, you have, my children go to school, so their entire school is my tapped market, because everyone knows that they have to go to Smita for a cake.
Wow.
So it's easy, it's not difficult at all, because everyone is doing very fancy birthday parties for their children.
Yes.
And everyone wants a big cake, and given our population, it's really not an issue. So there's a huge market for it. And I was already doing a lot of baking. So I've learned everything on YouTube and online, because that's a huge resource which definitely one should look at. Because globally cake baking, cake decorating has been happening for a long time. So there's a lot of stuff which is available online.
What, according to you, is the right way for someone to begin something like this? Home bakers are a big hit now, especially in big cities. What would you say to someone who was to start this? What is the right way, the ideal way to sort of go about it?
Right. So, baking is something that happened to me. As I told you before, I've been doing this. It's not something that I needed to go and learn.
Yeah.
But, if you suddenly wake up one morning and say, okay, I want to have a bakery today, you're probably headed for failure, because it is very hard work. It's a very specialized work. So, unless you have an ability to do it, you will have to learn it.
Yeah.
Now, there are many schools now which have opened up in the metros in India. Even in Delhi, there are many schools which can take you on, and you can learn the basics of baking. You can learn the basics of cake decorating. You could attach yourself to an already existing home baker.
Yeah.
And those are ways to learn.
What would you say about the kind of clientele a person can have? I mean, what is your possible market for a home baker?
Well, again, that depends on what you're specializing in.
Yeah.
So you can specialize in a variety of things. It's a very big field. You can do, my specialization is in making figures and painted cakes. But there are others who do dietary restriction cakes, who have a wonderful assortment of flavors that they have.
The source of inspiration for a baker. I mean, what do you do when you're sitting at home? You've done n number of cakes over and over again. You've done them differently, flavors, techniques. You've played with everything that you could. But for inspiration, because a home baker is just at home doing it probably all by himself.
Right.
What is an ideal way to sort of reach out, expand their horizon, experiment more, learn more? What should they do?
The internet. Again, the internet. You have to follow global trends. It's very important to do your research and see what flavor combinations are the trend right now. You have to see what is out there in the world, what you can do, what you have to keep wanting to learn.
Yeah.
So get magazines, look online, Google it, follow the top bakers.
Yeah.
What are their recipes?
Yeah.
Get the good baking books perhaps.
What's the world eating?
What is the world eating?
Yes.
What is the world eating and what is the world looking at?
There's too many home bakers out there, especially in big cities. There's one, I think, in every corner. How does one differentiate, or how does one make herself or himself stand out from the rest? What is the way to do it?
Don't try to do everything. So I will not say that I am known for my cupcakes.
Okay.
Because there are 30 people in Delhi making cupcakes.
Yeah.
I'm specializing in just one field, and I'm doing as much research as I can to be the top of that field as far as inspiration is concerned.
Yeah.
Right? I can't. I'm always learning, and you are never as the best in anything. As soon as you say that, your days are done.
It's bad, yeah.
But you have to keep learning and specialize in one thing. So you need to pinpoint one thing. You need to learn from what is happening globally.
Yeah.
Which is very important. So you need to keep researching and learning. Well, I would say if you're passionate about something, you will be good at it. So, you should try your hand at whatever it is that you want to do, and don't give up, because in any profession, it takes time to learn, and as you keep doing it, with practice, you get better and better. So don't give up and keep at it and keep learning.
Well, you heard it from Smita. It's time for us to slip into a short break now. Don't go anywhere. We're back with lots more.